Thank you for joining us today. My name is Rachel, and I am the Marketing Manager for Asia Pacific here at Acquia. So today's presentation is called How Open Source Technology Drives Value to Your Business. Right, this is the second installation of our Digital Customer Experience in APAC series. So just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. So if you have questions for us, we are saving time at the end. So please be sure to use the Q&A or chat windows to submit your questions, and we'll bring them at the end. This presentation, yes, is being recorded, and we will share it with you at the end of the session. So we have with us today Phil Coop, our Marketing Cloud Director for Asia Pacific. Phil has 2 decades of experience working with global businesses, helping them leverage digital technology to grow revenue, reduce costs, and drive customer engagement. So Phil is passionate about making organizations more customer and data-centric through embedding data-driven personalization, experimentation, and human-centered design. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Phil. All right, Phil, take it away.
Thanks, Rachel. Thank you very much. And thank you everybody for joining us today. So as Rachel mentioned, this is the second part of our webinar series, where in today's session, we'll be talking about open technology. So it's really good to see so many people here today. In our previous webinar, we talked through the survey results that Acquia had recently conducted for 2 of our key markets here in Asia Pacific, Australia and Singapore. Today we'll be looking at how open technologies have been used by global businesses to deliver 3 key benefits. And in the following webinars coming up, we'll look through the other trends that came out of the survey, but the role of talent in the digital customer journey, and also how to enhance CX through things like personalization and automation. I won't go too much into the survey, the dynamics of the survey, because we did discuss that last webinar, but I will say that it was reasonable in scale in terms of numbers of consumers across different regions. So we have a reasonable amount of data to compare and contrast views of consumers, and also what's happening in the industry in terms of people investing in digital technologies or what their concerns are. So if you'd like a copy of that survey, please just go to our website, and the survey is available for download. So look, out of that survey, we discussed these 3 emerging trends last time and provided some data points on those, but they were really in and around technology, talent, and touch points. So one of the key trends revealed in the survey was a growing need for technology to keep pace with the pace of business change. And as we know, business has changed incredibly quickly over the last 12 months, particularly with COVID driving that acceleration. But at the same time, to truly transform, it's very, very challenging. We know from research that nearly 70% of digital transformations fail. But at the same time, executives say through research that they understand how critical it is to be able to, create, a really good customer engagement, particularly through digital channels. So, if we look at some of the data from the survey, for example, in Singapore, the usage of media and different channels, and the increase in the time that people are spending in different digital channels is staggering as a result, presumably, of COVID. So, other mobile apps has risen by 37% of people indicating that they've spent longer on these, increased usage on these types of apps than previously. So, what we can see is that for marketeers, this has led to a real challenge. There's so many applications out there now. There's so many data silos with different engagement data sitting in one platform or different platform, different content sitting in different platforms, that it's very, very hard to continue to deliver those consistent experiences across all of those different platforms. So just a little data point here is every second there are 127 new IoT devices being bought online every second of every day. So obviously for brands, there's a number of challenges with that proliferation of devices. We do know that, however, if you get it right, and if you deliver an amazing customer experience, and there's a significant revenue uplift potential. So this piece of data is saying that US consumers are actually spending nearly 20% more with companies just based on the differentiated customer experience. Excellent customer experience also drives a much higher customer lifetime value. And ultimately the value of the business or the organization is based on the aggregates of all of their customers' lifetime value. So, when a business is trying to grow, or if it's trying to, obviously become profitable, then the customer lifetime value is one of those key metrics. As consumers, though, our expectations have been set by global organizations who have invested billions in terms of their digital platforms and their digital readiness. So that can lead to that kind of expectation gap between a consumer with a local experience and what they're expecting as provided from those global organizations. So particularly when the consumer's already provided their data through one channel, for example, they think that data should be, that the organization should be able to understand that and know exactly what that means for the customer at every point in time. And I think all of us have had experiences where we have had negative experiences in that space. So the reason for that is because for example, if you interact online, or if you interact in store, or if you interact via a call center, unless those various channels have access to that data, then of course they can't make an informed decision about what you likely want or how you'll be feeling, and so there's data silos, and there's also content silos, which means that, for example, if you have some content on your website, that may not be necessarily available to those people who are working in store at that point in time through the systems that they are using. So I guess to remedy some of these challenges and kind of moving forward with the conversation around openness, is that we can see that Singapore brands, for example, are investing in new ways of working and innovative technologies like CDPs, and in fact ahead of global peers. But there are some challenges on the way, being looking particularly around the lack of expertise locally, having that data in silos, and also from a talent perspective, there's a great shortage of employees with those kind of skills needed to drive those platforms. And this is really a little piece of data from Australia in terms of where they're investing. So marketing automation is fairly high compared with global brands. CDP is about the same level. AI and machine learning is slightly higher. So on the surface, it looks really positive, but again, if you look at other points of data on the survey, Australian brands are struggling to behind global peers and adopting things like CMSs and low-code programming. So if I sort of walk through the concept of open platforms, and hopefully most people who are here today understand basically what that is, but an open platform can really be a key asset in delivering some of the solutions to these challenges. And I'll just sort of briefly go through what we think that means at Acquia. Of course, it means open source, and one of the advantages there, of course, is that there's constant innovation being delivered by a world-class community. But it also means openness in terms of open architecture, so supporting any framework like for React or Angular, for example, for the business in terms of how you want to build applications. From a data perspective, it means open APIs, so supporting any things like REST JSON or GraphQL to integrate with any and every system, and it really unlocks data and content and enables the data to be shared across the organization. So if we look to visualize this, then from a content management perspective, there are multiple touch points across the organization, and similarly with a data management perspective. Now, once you apply intelligence over the top of that with machine learning, then you can actually leverage both content and data together, and that helps drive that amazing omni-channel customer experience through orchestration. It can be difficult to get that right, and I'm going to walk through how open tech can help do that easier. But in terms of the advantages of open technologies, it's three things really: velocity to help go faster. So that means creating content more rapidly. It means launching digital properties and campaigns more quickly, and through intelligence, things like ML and AI. It means doing things smarter. So that helps you really understand your customer's need and their intent. So what they're wanting to do, so you can be more effective in your marketing. And then it's also actually is much better for governance as well, to maintain control, because that through the ability to scale quickly and securely, then you can actually be not only quicker and more agile, but also more compliant. So there's a few examples here where we can illustrate this at Acquia, but in terms of faster time to market, we have one of our customers, King Arthur Flour, who they actually had a massive increase in site traffic during COVID, up to 200% increase, and they just scaled up without any kind of disruption. In terms of faster time to revenue, so everybody's looking for a fast ROI on any investment. We work with Lululemon as a brand, for example, and they saw an actual 15% increase in baseline revenue just by enabling, through open integrations, a much better view of data and understanding of their customers. And I guess finally, in terms of compliance, and we'll talk a bit about compliance in the next bit, but Bayer worked with Acquia for the digital transformation, and that's thousands of digital properties globally. So obviously working in the business that they do, that's critically important for them. But they saw their speed to market increase by about 4 times, while obviously maintaining that high degree of compliance. Now, the other thing in terms of velocity is, internally, obviously depending on the quality of your systems, the usability of the systems, what data they have access to, certain tasks for marketing teams can take certain amounts of time. And what we notice is that before customers are using a Acquia CDP, the open CDP, then certain tasks like executing a Facebook campaign might take 3 weeks. But once you've actually piped the CDP into the organization and into those platforms of engagement, then actually you can do that kind of thing in about 30 minutes. And obviously selecting data for a campaign, so that can take up to 2 weeks. Again, it can all just be done self-service by the marketing team within about 30 minutes. And things which weren't even possible, previously, such as sending data to multiple third-party suppliers, that can be done in 10 minutes. So those are the kind of benefits that we see our customers using open tech, and I think there's some fantastic examples. With open integrations, obviously that speeds up the development process as well, because it's very, very flexible. So there are a number of integrations, of course, out of the box, but the biggest benefit of open source is that it obviously gives you the flexibility to use the platform according to your needs. So interoperability and connectivity within the existing infrastructure or the platform is easier to get, and it also affords liberty so users can make changes to the features. So I think it's there's many facets to improving velocity, but open platforms can definitely drive that. The next piece just to cover off is intelligence. So with AI and machine learning, they influence a lot of the customer experiences that we use today. So for example, everybody's familiar with Netflix recommendation system, and it's working on an algorithm, but the major factor and the major differentiation for them is their use of ML and AI. Obviously it's learning, gathering data as you use it, and of course there will be better recommendations. But other organizations, for example, are heavily invested in AI, like Uber. When you actually use the app, you don't probably notice, but they will use things like helping commute, expected time arrivals, developing their self-driving cars, and they're really investing in using AI to make their transportation better. With Google, for example, obviously the search engine's powered by AI, but there's other areas of Google which are massively leveraging intelligence. So Google Ads, for example, they both incorporate smart bidding. Google Maps driving mode, it understands where you're going and it helps navigate you without any commands, and even little things like Google Photos suggesting which photos you could share with your friends. These are examples of, we don't really think about the AI necessarily driving that, but that's what's happening. And of course the reason for that is because as brands, we want to create these fantastic customer experiences which are completely joined up, and the customer's not aware of any of the data silos or technology happening behind the scenes. So here with here's an example just to walk you through, and it's with Lululemon. So I'd just like to take you through an example of how we've seen the difference with their brand. As probably many of you know, they're a fitness brand. They compete with Adidas and New Balance and Nike and Puma, and they do have an e-commerce website which is hugely successful for them, but they've also got 460 stores across the globe. So their in-store focus has really been on serving as a community hub, and through that and through in each of those communities, they've built a really strong relationship with their customers. But while they had a large amount of data on each of these customers, the data collection and the digital engagement was operating in complete silos. So what Lulu recognized was that they needed to bring all that data together, and they needed to unify all of their customer intelligence to be able to really deliver those orchestrated experience across both physical and digital channels. So the company also wanted to use its data as a lens to look into the future and to gain insights into what customers were likely to do. So things like customer propensity to churn or other opportunities in order to segment the audiences for maximum impact. And the results are actually very impressive and can show how using open tech can actually make a significant impact to a business's bottom line. So by putting all that data into a single location, of course, Lulu able to better target shoppers based on all the different types of brand interactions, whether that be transactional data or web data or things in social channels, etc. It all helps them build up that really strong view of the customer and use that AI and ML to drive the intelligence to really understand what the next big offer should look like, or to understand that customer's behavior. So they could determine, for example, based on customer 360, whether a customer's preferred activity was, for example, running, or if it was cycling, or if a customer went to the yoga sessions every week. And so they can start targeting them with customized online and offline marketing campaigns. So some of the results for Lulu were huge. Obviously a massive boost in website visits, increase in physical event participations, but most importantly, just a 15% increase to their baseline revenue. So there is a lot of value in organizations' data. It's just that without a properly customer-centric data model and framework, it's actually hard to realize value in that data. And some of the I guess results that we've seen, or average results for our customers, using open tech to help as part of their overall MarTech landscape is to things like click-through rates on their emails. They're up to 50% increased. Return on the advertising spend is a massive average improvement. Things as well like call center optimization, so providing the data from different channels through to your call center, people can actually make a massive difference to that whole experience. So it's definitely providing the intelligence right across the organization is one of the key benefits of using this open technologies. The other thing is just around governance. So we talked a little bit about governance earlier, and governance, as we know, is critically important. There are massive new risks to businesses every day, and there's the advantage of open to deliver a much more robust and compliant infrastructure is massive. So as we know, security threats are getting more and more mature, and the impact of a breach, like a customer data breach or an infrastructure breach, can be massive. So they can be so big they can sink the business. So there's more compliance risk in the market than ever. And it used to be perhaps that people would think, well, there's only really compliance risk for specific industries like healthcare, or maybe like the government or financial industries. But with consumers connecting on more touch points, we're collecting so much data, and the data privacy regulations are getting stronger and stronger. So first we had GDPR, now CCPA, and globally the world is trending to more protection. So of course, for businesses today, they need a platform to protect against those threats and provides that compliance, but also one that enables marketing to do their job properly, and allows IT teams to secure the customer data. So I guess in a nutshell, currently with a lot of organizations, there's new applications and new experiences being created every day. There's new ways of engaging with the customers through different marketing execution platforms. And then most organizations have assets and campaigns, which again are growing and becoming more complex in the ways that the organizations need to be able to use those assets. So So what IT need out of the equation is they need firstly they need central governance. They need have their application and their experience stacks really that they need to accelerate these digital transformation initiatives are valuable to them in a format that makes sense for them as IT to build out and maintain and to maintain architectural integrity. And then on the marketing side, they need central governance as well, but they need to in terms of a campaign and marketing technology stack so that they can move very quickly to deliver digital marketing campaigns and obviously more intelligent digital marketing campaigns, but also to minimize spend and to minimize brand risk. So ideally as well with both marketing and IT stakeholders engaged, then the view is to make something which is scalable and obviously globally scalable. So that means that developers and marketers can share content, and for large organizations that can obviously be a global way of working. I just like to go through a just an example of that and what that means, and show an example of how the impact that open technologies can make. So Singapore University, I guess some people will be familiar with that. They are obviously based in Singapore. They're internationally recognized for world-class research and really high quality teaching. And now the thing with the SMU website is that it's really, they see it as being a real virtual extension of the campus. So obviously it provides information and services for students, for parents, for faculty, for alumni. So it's it's a vital piece of their customer engagement. So originally it was powered by multiple different systems, standalone solutions, but of course this brings challenges with things like brand consistency and layout control. Mobile responsiveness and content management were really complex for them. So what that means is that it's very difficult, I guess, in that kind of environment to be agile and to be able to move quickly and respond to market changes. So SMU were originally self-hosted from an infrastructure perspective, but they wanted to free up their IT and the developers into more troubleshooting, and they wanted to, so they moved to Drupal. Firstly they're hosting on the university's own infrastructure, and then they moving to Acquia Cloud. So doing that, it provided a performance boost, and it also offered them the stability and scalability. So as their demand went up and down, they can scale without having to be concerned about that. And I guess the most important thing is really just because of the way that the content was able to be managed, the content owners, they produce content without any technical support. So in comparison to 5 years ago, they've seen their main university page views rise steadily about 25% to 8 million in 2019, and the bounce rate decreasing massively, so decreasing to 15%, and before it was around 60%. So those are definitely what open tech can do in terms of governance, and then of course that rolls through in terms of the overall customer experience. So bringing the bringing it all together, what we've covered off today is that open technology provides a value to businesses in really 3 concrete ways. Firstly, the velocity to go faster. So that means being able to create content more rapidly and launch digital properties and campaigns faster. Secondly, the intelligence to be smarter. So that helps really truly understand each customer's needs and intent. So what they're intending on doing next. To enable to let the marketing teams do more effective marketing, and then the governance to maintain control. So that's around scalability and security and compliance. So that's the main thing, the main 3 really key themes around the benefits of using open tech. We do know from the survey that brands are also investing in digital platforms. The open platforms can open up the access to data and provide that better governance, and also obviously integrate freely with AI and different AI technologies to deliver, to really deliver that business and value to the customer as well. So I guess just wrapping up, if anybody would like more information on open platforms generally, or specifically on anything that Acquia does in either the Drupal cloud space or the marketing cloud space, please do follow up with myself or Rachel. That would be fantastic. We'd be really looking forward to continuing the conversation. Now, we do have 2 more webinars coming up, as I just mentioned at the beginning of this session. We have a webinar on the role of talent. So, we have some interesting data coming from the survey around, people and talent, and how talent and technology work together. And also, we're looking further beyond that on the 8th of April with a webinar on how to enhance CX through things like personalization and automation. So they will conclude the series. Hopefully some of you can make it to the next episodes of the webinar. Look, I'm looking forward for any questions. Oh, here we go. So I do have a question, and it's around what are the realistic timelines for implementing and rollout of an open digital experience platform? So I guess for me, when we look at working with customers on how long and planning and how long those things will take, there's normally a planning phase which would last anywhere between 4 to 8 weeks to understand, obviously, the best ways of integrating with what the customer's MarTech is doing already. And then there'll be an implementation phase, which, depending on the size of the project, could be anything from 3 months to 9 months. And then there'll be a phase of obviously testing, ingesting data and data reconciliation. Again, depending on the size of the project, that could be anything from probably 6 weeks through to 3 months. And the other question I have is, how can organizations combine open source technology with proprietary software? Well, the main way is that open technologies are designed to integrate freely and to not create barriers to passing data between any proprietary technologies. So there isn't really an issue with combining open with proprietary technologies. Ultimately, that's what open platforms are designed to do, to enable organizations to really see data which is in multiple proprietary technology solutions in a whole new way.
All right. I guess we'll wait for some questions to come in. So, okay, thank you, Phil. Thank you for your time. So thank you all for attending. The slides and the recording of this webinar will be posted on our website, and we'll be sending you an email on this as well. So be sure to look out for that. Again, thank you for your time, and we'll see you in our next webinar series. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.